Rick.
Yo, we're back and we are live.
With the Homies podcast number 7. Isn't that crazy? 7 weeks, dude.
Geezy here
That's
with
already a
Lil
month.
Homie joining.
Oh yeah, dude. So, what's been going on, dude? What's been going on?
Not much, man. I just finished work. Got over to Karma and Ryan's place and just played a few games of Melee and that we're here.
Oh yeah, dude. See, I mean, I'm not doing anything, dude. I'm just chilling. I've been working the entire week. Like, I'm just stressed, dude. My whole body's just like giving up. And I've
Damn,
just
man.
I've just been doing a lot of stuff like I've been editing a couple videos, editing like videos just to put up on like the Facebook page, just so so we could reach a wider audience, and I'm trying to do some more YouTube stuff.
Oh yeah. Well, if you want to put this in the category of just chatting, well, you want to let the folks know on a wider audience.
Yeah, I'll put it, yeah, just chatting. But yeah, dude, I'm just wait, hold up.
Yeah, no worries, man. Take your time.
But yeah, I've just been just minding my own business. I'm just
Hey,
tired,
you're minding
dude.
your own business,
I'm
doing your thing, tired, working, but also,
yeah.
hey, how's talking to the girl?
What girl? Hey, hey,
Girls.
hey, 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 it's girls.
Oh, excuse me, girls. We're
I,
good.
I
We're
don't
good.
know.
We're
Hey,
chill. We're
hey.
chilling.
To me, I think this is probably like the worst time to actually be talking or like dating, because like this COVID thing is just, it's not for everyone. It's not for me, dude. I just can't. You can't really go out. You can't meet new people. But I mean, since I work at retail, I have the chance to actually talk to girls, but I don't know. I mean, the times I work is like overnight, so I can't really, talk to people.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. How about you?
It's I think so. A big part of even exposure to women is that you have to put yourself in a setting where you're doing so. So, for example, like me right now, I'm working from home, and so that's obviously not going to pay. You know what I mean? As
Oh
many
yeah,
dividends
yeah,
as
that's
I
true.
wanted to meet girls. So I've been on the online grind with a different amount of apps, which
Ooh,
shall not be named.
which shall not be named. But
Hey, if you find me online, you are a lucky one. Just know that one.
a
You're
lucky one.
lucky. You're beyond lucky because if there's even a chance that I can swipe right or left on you and read your bio,
It's game over.
oh,
Is the game over?
it's not game over, but it's like you just found a special dude. You may not end up with it,
Especially.
but we can be friends for life. And
That
that's
sounds
that's the approach
funny.
I take. And I don't think I'm almost, yeah, I'm positive that not everyone is like that, but I'm one of those people where it's like, we can date for a little bit, but then we can remain friends if we're not looking out for it. Because I used to be like, oh man, it's so awkward, it's all this, it's all that, but it's like
Wait, so what was
I
awkward? Wait,
don't.
so you said something was awkward. Like what
Yeah,
was awkward?
yeah. So various things could be awkward. It's a general rule of thumb. If you make it awkward,
You make it
it'll
awkward, yeah.
stay awkward.
If if you
And
like
it's
if you tell them it's awkward, then they'll become awkward. That's like the worst
Yeah,
part.
yeah,
That's
and
the
and
worst
the
part.
big thing about it too is it's like things that would come up awkward to me would be like if we didn't really, feel the vibe between. So the thing is, I notice that whenever I'm talking with women, whenever I'm hanging out with them, I'm not necessarily like always going to be like on the lookout. I'm like, oh, I'm trying to scoop up this
Yeah,
girl and pick
yeah.
her up. It's not like that. It's more just like I want to meet them, talk with them, get to know who they are as a person. If I deem that they are worth my time, which that's a fair opinion for everyone to have,
Mhm.
then I'll be like, you know what? Even if we're not into each other, if I feel like some sort of vibe, some sort of chemistry that we can get along and we can benefit from each other's company and, like we're cool together, then it's like, I want to stay friends. It's not so much like I'm treating dating apps as like opportunities and potential, not so much a white and black. This is the person I want to go after and I'm into. X. If I'm not into them, I'm just gonna X them out. They're exiting from my life. Like I've taken the approach now to be like, you know what? Why not everyone when I meet them, if there is a chance that we can hang out and have a good time together, who am I to deny that? It's like I've realized, especially during this COVID time, that people's company and time are actually very, I mean, invariably valuable. They're
Mm-hmm.
very valuable from the people I meet because I'm able to bounce ideas off each, you know what I mean? We're able to bounce ideas off each other. We're able to enlighten our life by like just, giving each other a few laughs here and there and just chill. Why not?
Yeah.
And I used to have the mindset to be like, oh man, no, it's like, that girl's doing her thing or whatever. I'll just leave her alone. But it's like,
Mm-hmm.
why not talk with them? Why not chill? Why not hang out? It's like, okay, even if it didn't work out between you and me, maybe I can find a friend or something that I know that you might be into and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think a lot of people think like that. That's one of the main problems because and that's not necessarily a bad thing because everyone can do what they want, but I think it is something that could potentially hinder everyone getting along.
Like,
Because the moment you close that door and you say no to someone, that's an immediate like, you know what I mean? That's an
yeah.
immediate like, I'm done with that person. I'm cut off from that person. I'm not into that person.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, that's how I feel about it. But I don't. Do you feel that same way when you're meeting women and you're talking with folks?
I don't know. For me, it just kind of takes a while for me just to get to know them or them to get to know me because I'm usually a
You
reserved
know,
person. I'm a reserved person, so I can't. It's hard to like get to know me on like a personal level. So like meeting you and like Dolph like kind of took a it kind of took a little bit just for me to come out, get out of my shell. And once I hung out with you more and more, I started showing myself. And with Dolph, I'm becoming like way more comfortable around you guys, and it's like it's cool. That's something that I like doing. I like being comfortable around people, and like when you come across as as like not necessarily fake, but not your true self. That's like when I don't know. I just don't like that. It's hard though. It's something that's like not. I don't think it's like an issue per se of myself because that's how I am. I can definitely change
yeah,
that. I can definitely change that. Be more open minded but it's kind of hard because you can't you can't just change yourself in one day.
yeah. Everything takes work, and I think it's important to note that Isaac. What are you? 20? You're 20 years
Yeah, I'm
old.
20,
20
dude.
years
Dude,
young.
almost 21, dude. When I met you, I
Almost
was
21.
14,
So you're
dude.
not even legal to drink yet. But
Yeah.
I think there's so much that you're such a young man, and I'm not that much older than you. But like, when I was there, I really thought that 18, 21, I'm like a full grown adult. I'm doing my own thing, but there's so much for you to learn,
It
so much for you to
is.
take in and process,
Yeah.
and then become mature with this information and build off of it,
Mhm.
you know? And so it's like, I think it's very important to note. So it's like, you can't, I'm happy to see that you found such a community like Smash, where it's like,
Yeah.
like you were just saying, you found me, you found Dolph,
Yeah,
you're a
dude.
lot more comfortable expressing who you are now, and that
I'm way more comfortable
in my
now.
book,
Way.
yeah, and that my book is like expressing happiness, straight up expressing happiness, and,
No,
and being able
actually,
to
no.
socially connect with people. It's an important skill. Not everyone has it. Not everyone will always gain it because everyone, can be at different steps and different bases along their life. But
Mhm.
I think being able to socially connect with people and even just talking with them, if you don't have that much in common, can work out really well for you because that's not only something that you can have, but it's something that you can build over time. And there's not some sort of ceiling on this where it's like, oh, I've become so good at talking with anyone that I can meet off the street that it's just perfect. No, that's never going to happen.
Yeah, it's never gonna happen.
Everyone is different,
Everyone's
everyone's
different.
a variable X that you don't know about.
Mhm. Yeah. Wait, so okay, so there was one point that I disagreed. I disagreed where you said oh yeah,
Mhm.
that I express happiness. So, I mean, that's something that I feel like I disagree with, just because I
Oh,
feel
okay.
I think it's more so me wanting to be happy. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
So you being comfortable is equivalent to you wanting to be happy.
that's what I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Cause
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. It's kind of like a negative emotion where you can't really I guess express yourself or like don't know
Mhm.
how to. But like once you get comfortable with like a certain like group of people or whatever, like you become happy that like that you can be yourself. I guess you know.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying. Like what you just
Yeah,
said, you
yeah,
can be you're yourself. That's why I
yeah,
equated being comfortable
yeah,
with being happy. So it
yeah.
was interesting to hear you say that. Like, it's like, oh, maybe even if I'm comfortable, I'm not really expressing happiness.
Mhm.
But you just disagreed with that.
Wait, say it again.
So I was saying earlier, like being comfortable and
Mhm.
being able to express yourself is expressing happiness. But you were like, that's not really something I agree with. That's something I disagree with.
No, but it's
Um,
no, because I'm searching for happiness. So I mean, I guess you saying that I do express happiness is true, but like, yeah, it is true. Yeah, never mind.
but what?
No, nothing. There's nothing. Nothing. Just move on. Like, but what? But what?
Move along. Go on, go on, go on, go on.
No,
We're just chilling. We're just having a good
no.
time. We're just moving along.
Yeah. So, dude. So speaking about the COVID thing, and
Yeah.
did you know that divorce rates are actually going up?
Okay, so the thing is, it's interesting because with when COVID started and this entire quarantine process started, a lot of people were like, there are going to be so many babies born in
Yeah.
January, anywhere from like December through February,
Uh huh.
just because all these like
Couples
people are going to be like having time to like
be
get in
together.
the good stuff, but at the same time,
It's too
the
much.
divorce projection was going to be higher because a lot of people will have more time,
Yeah.
like not even have, but like they're forced to
They
have
are
more
forced.
time to interact with their spouse or their significant other, even if you guys aren't married and you guys are in like some sort of committed relationship. That
Mm.
can affect you extremely negatively if you find out that, like, man, I can't tolerate this person for 24 hours in a day.
Yeah, dude. Like that's gonna be super annoying if I were like to just stay at my house for 24 hours with my brother. I'd be so like annoyed, dude. I'd be so annoyed.
To be honest, for me, I think if it's like someone that I really
You can spend
have
time with.
come to enjoy, yeah, I really
Yeah.
enjoy spending time with, and not only enjoy spending time with, but enjoy doing things out of my comfort level, where they bring in their input or like whatever they do, it increases my comfort level.
I see.
So it's
Yeah.
like it actually it expresses happiness for me in that way when I'm with them,
Wait,
and so that's extremely important.
so if you're like with your brother, right? If you live with your brother and like you guys have to spend 24 hours every single day for like 3 months now, like would that
Yeah.
get annoying to you?
Uh, no, if you know how to balance it. And so the
Okay.
thing is, for me, I do live with my brother,
Oh, you do?
and yeah, and we'll have times where we like are hanging out, we're watching like some TV show that we're into, and then we'll also order some food too. But like
Hey.
he wants to go do his own thing, and I want to go do my own thing.
Uh-huh.
So it's like we will have the time too, where like
That's
we
cool.
spread out from each other. But I
That's
think that's a
cool.
really good balance to have. Like that's the type of balance
Yeah.
that I could live with if this pandemic environment happened forever,
Mhm.
and I could chill with my brother because we're doing that already.
That's true,
And I'm
yeah.
having a good time. He's not the biggest thing
Mhm.
is if someone is stopping you from what you want to do. That's
Yeah.
usually what happens
That's
within
the
when you
worst thing ever.
it is when you have more time with that person. The person will be like, well, I want to do this, and I want you to spend time with me, even if you're not going to be the most excited about what we're doing. And it's like, man, it's not like that. There's got to be a compromise.
Yeah.
We're both adults here. We have to be like, you know what?
We can
Let's do
solve.
something you want to
Yeah.
do, and then we can do something I want to do. If we don't want to do that, we can do something that we both want to do, and then we can go spread off from each other. Which the latter version usually makes sense for me, and I think in this day and age, it probably is the same for most people,
Mhm.
just because it's I think a lot of people are entitled to what they want to do and they don't want to be controlled. The moment someone feels like they're being controlled is kind of the end of, what they're feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, it sucks. It sucks on my end in a way, but like it's like yeah, cause growing up in like a Mexican household, it's like that. You get rules, you can't go
You
out,
know?
but slowly and surely, I'm going out more and more, which is cool. Getting more freedom.
Yeah, I grew up in a Hmong household, so it's very, I would guess, very similar. From everything you've told me,
Yeah, yeah. We always have this
from everything-
discussion.
yeah, yeah, it's like I think,
Ever since I was like a teenager, dude. I've been telling you this forever, but
yeah. I
slowly
mean,
I'm
ever
getting.
since I graduated from college,
Yeah,
I've been letting you know like how my life has been,
yeah.
it's incredibly interesting to hear someone from like a non-white
What?
household because it's different.
It is
It's
different.
not
It
the
is.
norm.
Yeah.
You know, not to say that like there's bad with anything with that, but it's just like it's new info that I want to be able to process, and it's going to be info that I'm going to relate to. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So it's like I'm gonna enjoy it, and I'm for me personally, it's an opportunity for me to not only intake new information, but to process it, let it marinate, and understand it, so that I understand where you're coming from, who you are, what your upbringing is, how it's affected you, how it's influenced you, how it influences how you meet other people, how it influences how
It
you
does.
interact with other people. For example, me. You
Uh-huh.
know.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. So
But
no,
but
keep
there's
going.
a I was yeah, I was gonna say there's obviously got to be some sort of differences between a Mexican household and a Hmong
Yeah, yeah,
household.
yeah.
I know for
What's the
me,
differences?
most Hmong families usually have bigger families.
Dude,
So
same with
what I
us.
mean by that is they'll have like 4+ kids in their
Exactly.
family.
Exactly. Yeah, that's like us too. But back then though, that's back then.
Yeah,
Nowadays
it's
it's
more of
probably
a
different.
traditional
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. Because like wait, so how many kids does your grandma have?
My grandma,
Yeah, yeah.
man, I think the amount of children that my grandma and grandpa had was over 10.
Over 10? Dude,
It's like anywhere from
dude, same with me.
I don't yeah, I don't know exactly. My family
Yeah.
has 7 kids. My mom and dad had 7 kids, and I'm the
Really?
last one out of those 7.
Wow, what?
Yeah. You know?
Dang. Okay, so it's still going on today. Cause like nowadays for Mexicans, that's not really happening now. Like,
Well, I guess you have to take into account me being the last of my family, having 7 kids, that was 28 years ago.
yeah,
So
that's
you know what I
true.
mean? It might not be the same thing for like today's
Mhm.
mark, but back then, that's exactly what my parents were looking for.
Yeah.
Um, I, I have a lot of friends that are Hmong, that are married, that have their own households now. I
Mhm.
would say like like most of the people I know that like got married back when they were like 21, 22, and they're living their own household now, even earlier maybe,
Mhm.
is like they're on kid 3 or kid 4, kid 5 maybe.
Already?
Yeah,
Really?
so it's somewhat common. Obviously, not the same amount of numbers,
Mhm.
but it's definitely something common.
Yeah, it's
And I
so
think
common.
that's
Yeah.
that's uh that it might stay around the 3 to 5 kid range
Mhm.
within this current second generation of Hmong Americans, because you have to realize that maybe even the first generation, because you have to realize that when my parents came in, they were with that initial generation from like the 70s through the
Mhm.
90s that came in,
Mhm.
and so right now we're almost like at a birth development stage for how Hmong Americans are going to assimilate into American culture and Western culture for that matter.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if it's the same thing with Mexico,
Mhm.
or or Mexican family households,
Mhm.
but I know us being the first, second generation folks, I think the 3 to 5 kid per family range
Mhm.
is probably gonna be
The most common
the
thing.
same, or stay common
Mhm.
for the next couple generations. We'll see how it goes out,
Mhm.
because with any kind of a new culture assimilation into the base culture, you're also going to have interracial relationships.
That's
And
true.
I don't know interracial, like I know right now, I do know quite a few interracial, like Hmong, Caucasian relationships, and Hmong and like different ethnicities too. in America here,
Hmm.
and most of them have like 2 to 3 kids max,
Yeah,
maybe four
it's
or five. So it's like it's again, it's still kind of in the very very early developmental stages of such an ethnic assimilation, if
hmm
that makes sense.
yeah. No, but okay, so like my mom's generation, I mean, so yeah, my grandparents had like 12 kids, and my mom was the last one, so she's the youngest in the family. And I'm
Kudos
pretty,
to her.
huh?
Kudos to her. The
Oh
last
yeah,
one's always spoiled.
I know. Yeah, basically. Yeah, just like my brother, he's basically the one being spoiled. He's like the last one. No, but yeah, but I don't know, but I think that like I think my mom's like time, 'cause like she's like the youngest one. I feel like that's like when it starts. Like I feel like that's at that point Mexicans started having kids or like like maybe like 1 to 2 kids, and I feel like that's when it kind of started. Because
Okay.
I don't know. I just kind of feel like the Mexican American generation. I don't know how to explain it. You know what I mean? Like the immigrants that are like, like that are coming here now, or like from my mom's time. They're having 1 to 2 kids just because it's more developed here. You don't need to like have so many kids in order for you to live a peaceful life. So having 1 to 2 kids here is, better than having 12 kids, because over here you can easily make better money, have
And
food.
that's the American way.
Yeah,
That's usually the American way.
yeah,
It's I think a lot of it originated from like having needing to have extra hands,
yeah, yeah,
extra
yep,
bodies to help with the labor
yep, for
around.
labor
But
and everything.
America obviously completely different
It's
place.
so different.
Now it's more encouraged to go to school,
It
get
is.
educated, get some sort of degree, and then go and work some job.
Yeah, in Mexico, it's kind of like it's more encouraged now to like go to school now. Back then, you obviously had to work, and everything. But
You know,
yeah, so I'm having like cousins and everything like that, going to school, getting a good job, and doing their thing. But yeah, it's different, dude. It's
yeah,
crazy. It's crazy how different places work.
yeah,
Right?
and it's important to note that like we're the bridging like
Yeah.
between these two different stages in human race progression.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this, what a collision between for me. What a collision between the Eastern Hemisphere and the Western Hemisphere.
Mm,
And so it's like
two
we're
different.
living proof of that. I think a lot of millennials are also living proof of like different eras and different times
Yeah,
that
that too.
made each
Yeah,
other.
yeah,
Because it's like you hear all these like older American folks and like I didn't I put in my work, and then now I bought a home, I left home, and I'm responsible. My credit score is high. I stayed with the same person that I was with back from high school, and like you know we've been together for 50, 60 plus years.
Mhm.
But it's like obviously again so different from the times
Yeah, it
now,
is so
so
different, dude.
different from like the divorce divorce rate so
So
much higher,
high.
like
Yeah.
exponentially higher
Yeah, it is.
than from before. And I think that's why I'm saying I was like, I think I'm so happy that there's something like a Smash community or like these different communities and groups where you can meet people and express who you are. You can be comfortable with who you are,
Yeah.
and like that builds happiness.
Yeah, it
But I think
does.
a lot of people's problems is that right now, especially right now, I guess it's hard to find such a group or a community where you're able to express similar interests.
Mhm.
I would advise a lot of people to like if they're on Facebook or some sort of social media to find such an outlet. Like I know
It
for
helps
me,
a
I've
lot.
joined like several different groups at the very beginning of COVID,
Mhm.
and I didn't do it with the mindset of like, oh, I'm gonna like find people that I'm gonna be able to talk to during this time of COVID. I did it naturally just because I was like, I'm in a really good place in my life where I want to get to know more people. I want to express myself. I want to have a good time. I've realized now that happiness is a lot more inclusion. You know,
Mhm.
it happiness involves shared thoughts, shared
Yeah.
memories, shared
Yeah.
experiences.
It's fun.
And
That's
I
like
think there's a different. What was
that
that?
that's like the best thing, like sharing moments with other
Yeah,
people.
yeah. Happiness can only be shared. Thank you, Christopher McCandless. If you guys have not read or watched Into the Wild, very good book and movie.
I've never seen that.
His main quote is happiness can only be shared. And so let me preface this for
Oh.
you so you haven't seen it. So
Mhm.
it's about a guy who grows up in a regular American like suburban household, goes to college, graduates from college. His parents are obviously very, very happy of him. But the thing is, inside, he feels a little empty because he's just like, man, I haven't really been doing much with my life besides education and like degrees and like getting a job. It's the entire basis for trying to break out of the normal Western American lifestyle. And so what this guy does is right after he graduates, he like sells his car. Or no, he didn't sell his car. He gave away all his like life savings to like charities,
Yeah.
and he left his family. He didn't tell his family what he was doing, and he travels around the 50 states by like almost like a hobo like
I
esque
see.
way of doing it. So it's like he's like hitchhiking rides, he's like camping out wherever he needs to, getting food whenever he can, but he's also not like stealing. So that's good. You know what I mean? He retains a level of high morals and high values and like good ethics.
Mhm.
And so I think like at some part he like leaves his car somewhere just because it's like he doesn't want to. He's I think at that part he like defines his life as like I don't need a car in my life to stay happy because of all the different people he meets, all the different experiences that he has. And then his final like adventure that he wants to go on during this trip is he goes to the wilderness of Alaska. And in the wilderness of Alaska, he's all by himself, and he's having a great time, having a good time, and he realizes that like as time passes when he's in this wilderness, that he's like, you know what, man, he's like, I'm not as happy as I was when I was with people that like I could experience stuff with and I can share shit with and I can have all these new experiences and memories and like that's what life is about, being able to experience these things because obviously life is not long, life is
Yeah,
short.
it is.
Why would you want to experience the same thing over and over, or like why would you want to do this one thing over and over and not feel as happy about it? So that's the conclusion that he comes to. But whilst he's in the wilderness, he actually eats like a poisoned leaf allegedly. That's like the one
Allegedly.
of the we're not exactly sure what happened to him. He's a real guy, by the way. He lived in the he passed away while he was in the wilderness from this poisonous leaf or potentially from hunger. And he dies, and like he writes a bunch of like he has like a bunch of notebooks, and he writes a bunch of stuff on the bus so that when the people find him, they understand that like he was a really philosophical guy, and he like wanted to get his ideas written down
Mhm.
so that people could see it.
Mhm.
And the big key like quote from this guy is happiness can only be shared. And that's actually a quote that I put onto my bio on my online dating apps.
Really? Wait,
I don't
so
know if it I don't know if people think like I'm looking for a committed relationship from
yeah.
that, but I just put it there as like a reminder for
For
me to be like my mind is focused on happiness, not commitment.
Oh,
You
okay.
know, and,
I
and, and
see.
so it's like I could be committed, I'm not ruling that out, but my life is more focused on around happiness. And I think a lot of people should do that as
Yeah.
well. But I also that's why I want people to be like when they see my dating app, they see that, and it like reminds them that like even if I don't hit it off perfectly with this person, I can enjoy a great meal, I can enjoy a great like talking session or like a great coffee with that person.
I see. I see. So
Um,
yeah, so you're just focusing on just being happy, just getting your dick swung left and right, and is that basically it?
I don't know about that. If it's what occurs, if it's what happens,
It happens.
then like yeah, it happens, but it was probably also a happy thing
It
because
is.
it's like I usually want to indulge myself in happy things,
Yeah, cause
and
you're
like
cause you're just trying to focus on life, right? Just life in itself right
yeah,
now.
I'm just trying to focus. I'm
Same with
the
me.
thing is, I think I was gonna say a lot of people also. One thing that I've noticed a lot of people have trouble with when they're in such a part in their life where they're like, I'm focused on happiness, is that they say no and they block out all the negative. And that's like good for a particular time, but that's not really the best because if you say no or if you block out that all that negative energy, all
You're
that negative talk, that negative experience or
because
influence,
you're essentially ignoring everything that's kind of like wrong with like what's
yeah,
happening to
you're
you.
ignoring that and you're not because you're ignoring it, you aren't able to utilize that.
Yeah.
Like I would say you should embrace that and utilize it, try to be proactive and productive about it and turn it into something positive and happy for
Yeah.
you.
Just look at both
You
sides,
know what I
right?
mean?
Look at both sides. That's what I try to do. Like if something
Take
negative's
be both sides.
yeah, if something's happening in my life that's like I guess negative, like if someone's reminding me of like my negative traits and everything like that,
You
you can
know,
ignore it for some time, but then like once it keeps being repeated, you have to kind of look at yourself and say like yeah, you kind of have to like like ask yourself if the negative things that you're doing are actually bad for you, bad for other people, and you have to see if that could if you can change that for the better, right?
yeah, and yeah, no, definitely, I agree with that. I think again, you're a lot younger than I am, so it's
Yeah.
like you're still finding that. I don't think I've found it at all either, because I think me being a 28-year-old man, 28-year young man, that I like there's so much for me to experience, so much for me to go through, and I was gonna note something that like when we all have our like different groups of friends, different groups of close friends,
Mhm.
and so for example, if a close friend of mine is like noticing that I'm like having too much fun and I'm not working on my like my credit score, or I'm not working on like maybe like my living situation or like my diet or something, that's negative information that can be turned to positive information. That's why whenever I see people that are like, oh, like this guy was always trying to like control my life, or like, this guy was like, doing this, doing that, or this girl was just being negative to me. I'm like, how are they being negative to you? You know what I mean? Like, I want to get behind it. I want to understand
Yeah.
the influence, the steps that it took for you to be like, no,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say no to that. Did you just impulsively be like, I'm gonna say no to all that negative stuff and I'm gonna do me? And it's like that's cool. That's great that you can do that. You can do yourself. That's fantastic that you're doing yourself. But at the same time, for me, information is knowledge. Information and knowledge is power for me. So it's like if I have that information, if I have the knowledge and it's something bad and something that I can work on and improve on and evolve as a human being, bring it in. You know what I mean? Like, like
Yeah.
come through. There's no toll here. There's no fee. There's no fine. Come on through. Give me a chat. See what's up. See what's good. And let's try to hit it off. Like I'm willing to. And that's the level of compromise that I think a lot of people don't have, because the thing is they're so focused on themselves and they're so focused on their goals and what they want to do and not feeling pressure to do things and not feeling controlled. But if you have good friends that are be like, hey man, you have like something stuck on your teeth, like a lot of people in this day and age, it's weird, but a lot of people are like, "Oh, that's kind of mean. That's kind of
I
insensitive."
know.
But for me,
Yeah.
I'd
Some
be like,
people like, oh, thank you,
"Yeah,
right? It's like, oh,
yeah,
thank you,
yeah." For me,
please.
I would be like, "Oh man, hey, good looking."
Yeah.
It's like I
Yeah.
can, I can wipe that off
Yeah.
now
Just
and
wipe the.
continue on my day.
Yeah.
But it's like for me, I think it's important to also have these people in your life, and they're not going to always bring positive or good energy to you. You have to be able to embrace, absorb, understand, and then analyze and evolve yourself with this information, which a lot of people say no to. It's cool that they're doing them, but I just don't think they're reaching who they could potentially be.
Wait. So you
Do
said
you have any?
wait. So you said
What was
that
that?
you said having negative people in your life is somewhat beneficial. You said.
Somewhat beneficial. Somewhat beneficial. You don't want to be. It's there's obviously a balance, an equilibrium that you'll need to play at,
Mhm.
but I don't think. Um, I obviously don't think just having only negative people in your life is going to be good. That's the worst. You
That is
don't
the
want
worst.
to
Yeah.
have just negative people in your life. I think that's the worst outcome that could happen.
No, but okay. So you saying that having like people who bring you negative energy is somewhat beneficial. That's something I disagree because I feel like if you have a friend who if you have a friend who's like trustworthy, brings you positive vibes and everything like that, like
You know,
most likely you're gonna trust them, right? Most likely you're gonna trust them, right? So when
yeah.
they point something out that's like a flaw that you have, I don't know. To me, just kind of it feels like it's more meaningful because you're talking to someone who you trust and they're telling you, they're being real with you, and bringing you, like like them giving you a negative thing or like telling you something negative about yourself, I feel like has more impact or more meaning than someone who brings negative energy in general.
Yeah, and I would say that I feel the same way. That's definitely a different level of comfort, a different level of negative energy, or I shouldn't say a different level, but a different type.
Yeah.
It's probably the same extent of negative energy, but the
Mhm.
thing is, because it comes from a person that like you've also shared more with, and they've shared more with you,
Mhm.
you can take their input on a higher priority
Yeah.
level just because you know what I mean. They'll be looking out for you,
Yeah.
and so it's like you can't really just do that with anyone. I wish you could, but that's also why I advocate to meet more people, to really put yourself out there so that you can meet these people where you're able to become closer with, you can build trust with. But I also see everything is a balance. Everything is almost like a
It
conundrum or
it's
you know what I
crazy.
mean, a hypocrisy about it. Because if you have too many people in your life that you're like, oh yeah, I'm close with this person, that person, and the
Yeah.
list just goes on and on and on, you're not gonna have as deep a relationship with them.
But in a way, like if you have like so many people, that you're connected with, that could actually, I feel like that could actually bring you like better results in life, right? Because like in a way, it's networking, right?
Yeah, yeah, it can.
That's what's crazy. Like it's so
You
complicated.
know,
Life is so complicated. It's crazy, man.
yeah.
Like,
It's the potential that like you can get all these different people in your life, but the part where you have to be realistic is it with it is you only have 24 hours in a day, you only have 7 days in a week, and you only have 365 days in a year. How many years you actually live? Not that long, you
mm,
know. And so the thing is, what you have to do is you have to be able to manage who you meet. You have to be able to manage your time and how much time you spend with X person, which is why I think it's important to note that, like, even though there's the potential of what you could be, depending on how many people you can meet, your potential is realized when you're realistic with it. And
yeah,
you know what I mean? You find a balance where you're able to capitalize on all the different
I see.
opportunities that you meet with people. But at the same time, you need to be able to put in that disciplined work and trust and communication and being direct with each other within a relationship,
Yeah,
which takes time.
it does. Yeah,
So it's like if that takes time, then you can't be on that level with every single person in the world. That's impossible. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, dude. Life is just so crazy, dude. It's just crazy. It's so complicated, dude. There's so many things that
It is.
like that everyone can improve upon themselves. Like, yeah, it's so much, man. Like from like different levels, from like the president to us to like, it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. So last week I actually just had I think you might know him as well, but I wanna not say his name on air.
Uh huh.
And so I had a friend, pretty close friend, I would say, that he actually just broke up with his girlfriend, and she was living with him.
Yeah.
And he's been stressing about it for quite a while,
Mhm.
and he's looking at this opportunity of breaking up with his girlfriend as a chance to better himself, give himself some time to do what he wants right now. He's a young guy, he's like early 20s,
Mhm.
not even mid 20s, at early 20s, and I commend him on his decision to do so. That takes a lot,
Yeah, it does.
and I think his ex-girlfriend was looking at the relationship like, obviously something that could be forever. They were thinking about she was thinking about getting married,
Mhm.
and starting up a family. And I think he said he was too at some point. But right now, I talked with him recently, and he said right now he's not. I mean, there's a chance they could go back together, but like he's not about that at all right now. And I'm like, you know what? I think that is a fantastic idea. Obviously, unfortunate for like his ex girlfriend, but like I think it's phenomenal because everyone always says, oh, it's good to work on yourself. It's good to do that, but it's like if you really look into how you can do it, it differentiates between the levels of potential of how good you can actually, not good, but like how much better you can actually improve yourself.
Yeah.
And so he's got a number of different things that he wants to do right now that require time, and
Yeah.
like he's just he's not feeling. He said maybe some obviously he was very fair about the breakup. And he was like maybe a lot of things that caused the breakup were his own doing, his own shortcoming, and I think it's more positive to be realistic about your own
Yeah,
faults
yeah,
than to blame someone. And
yeah, yeah,
even
yeah.
if even if that blame truly was there, even if it was someone else's fault, if you're able to identify your own first, that allows you to love, accept, and then fully embrace yourself in order to evolve as a person. And then you can pay attention to your surroundings. You can pay attention to what's going on the exterior. But because there's so much turmoil, there's so much stuff inside you that like you're not willing to accept or you have a problem with and you haven't really figured out or solved, you're not going to get much. You know what I mean? You're not going to get much out of life if you don't solve these problems first. It's like being humans. It's like when I'm thinking about it, it's like how effective, how strong were people's like teeth back in what I mean, back in like the
Oh yeah,
700s.
yeah, yeah,
You think
yeah,
about it now,
yeah.
it's like, dude, we're brushing our teeth, we're flossing our teeth on a daily basis, multiple times throughout the day. Like a lot of people weren't doing that back then, and it's like you'd have to think about how strong our teeth are. You know what I mean? As opposed to like how strong people's teeth were back in the day, and only with time, like obviously there's been 2,000 years, 1,000 years since then, we've capitalized on so many other things with our body. We've looked into dieting, we've looked into nutrition, we've looked into how meditation, how we should treat every day, how we go about things, how we should interact with people, how we should intake information that comes to us, how we should intake information based on what the medium is, whether or not it's from our phone, online, other people that we're talking to, maybe business people that we're talking to, our neighbors, our friends, our family. So many different things, so many different variables that I think if you think about all these things, you're going to blow your mind. But you have to take it step by step, and
Yeah.
so I think it's very important to be able to work on yourself,
Mhm. Yeah.
before you even attach yourself to external things. And so to him that just broke up with his girlfriend, good job. you know
Yeah.
you're making life happen. You're obviously trying to improve yourself. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. There's
And
nothing wrong with
really,
that.
actually, quite the opposite. There's only good things that can come from that because he's also maturing.
Yeah.
He's learning who he is as a
Yeah.
person right now. I would say early 20s to mid 20s, you're learning a lot about who you are.
That's true.
And there's so much information. There's so many things that are affecting you. It's like it's. I don't even want to name examples because there's so much. There's
Yeah.
so much.
So yeah. So I was talking to
You
this
know.
this friend from work, and I was telling her that like in our 20s, that's like when our life is gonna change like a lot, right? We're gonna enter relationships.
Drastically.
We're gonna enter
Yeah.
relationships. We're gonna be, going to school, graduating, getting new jobs, and all these other things. Our life is gonna be improving. They're gonna go down. We're gonna, like no one knows what's gonna happen during our 20s. So it's just crazy, dude. Like, I don't know. Yes. So we were talking about a couple of days ago where I was just excited about life. Remember that? I was like, you
Hmm.
know what, dude? I'm just excited about life because I just can't wait to see what life is gonna bring me in the future because I don't know. I just see a lot of like success or I don't know. I just see a lot of good things in my future. That's just what I feel. But it's crazy because you don't know what's gonna happen during your 20s or in your life, right?
I want to ask you, why do you feel like, positive, good about your life, and like what has influences do you think?
I think it's me just making money, like a little like more money than before. Like
You
like
get a
one,
promotion?
huh?
Did you get a promotion or
No, no,
something?
it's not that. I think it's just me just making more money. Like in the beginning of when I was like 16 to like even last year till 19, right? I've just been working, paying for things, and like I just don't get like I don't get the money that I want. I just don't have enough sometimes to do
Mhm.
things or and now that like summer came in and I'm just working constantly. I have more money than ever before. I can pay for my like tuition, and I still have enough money for me to like buy things. And I'm getting like bonuses just because like I'm working during COVID, right? Like
Yeah.
it's things like that. Just I just see like good things in the future. That like if I'm working at like a retail job, like what's gonna like in the future, what's gonna bring me, you know, in my life in the future, right? Like what more positive things are gonna come in the future, and I'm just kind of excited for that.
Yeah, that's good. That's good to hear. I gotta ask you. So you said you're more happy because you have more money.
It's not that. No, no, no,
Uh,
no. It's not that. It's just more
oh,
so just more access to like do things. It's not
yeah.
the
So
money.
okay. So accessibility and the
Yeah.
medium is money,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
The medium to all these different avenues
Avenues,
of
yeah.
accessibility is money.
Mhm.
And so I would have to ask you, like, if you know, what are some things that are making you more happy? I don't want to talk about the medium like money,
Mhm.
but the accessibility, like what are some things that you're doing that's making you happy? I think that's important to identify.
Things that I'm doing like so wait, so we're not talking about the money, right?
Mhm.
Just okay, outside of
Because
the money?
well, I was gonna say, so the thing is, I think you had named off like, oh, like I'm more happy because obviously with more money I can like pay off my tuition.
Yeah, pay
That's
off
a
my
great
tuition,
feeling.
my
That's
car,
very good.
like
Yeah, your
bills,
car,
bills, like things like
bills.
that. It makes me happy that like I'm ahead of like I'm more ahead right now than I was back then.
Can
That's
you imagine if you can you imagine if you didn't have bills?
yeah. I
What,
mean,
what would you what would you do then? You know what I
not
mean? Like just like a hypothetical situation. Because what I'm getting right now is that your happiness is determined on what kind of things you have to use your money for. And so in the end, it becomes a money based happiness.
I don't think it's that because like cause okay, what makes me truly happy is just hanging out with people. Like I just love spending time with people, right? Like it's like
And so COVID's got
that's
to,
that
COVID's got to put a plan. COVID's got
yeah.
to put a wrench in that, as
Yeah.
well as if you like enjoying and having that time to spend with people.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say on some level having to dedicate X amount of hours for work takes away from that time of being able to hang out with people?
Wait, what? Say it again?
So you working
Yeah.
more
Mhm.
during this time,
Yeah.
would you say working more during this time, that time that you're dedicating to work, it takes away from the time that you could potentially be spending with people? Wouldn't you say that?
I mean, in a way, yes, but I mean, okay, like what I do is like, so what I do is like, so I mostly just like look towards the future, right? Like maybe buying a house, like maybe moving out, and I don't know, it just gets me excited to like move on with life, just like advance, I guess you could say advance in life, right? Like getting your own
No.
place, that that's like that would feel amazing. Like if you get your own place, like just like you working yourself. Like yourself just working, putting the time in to accomplish a goal, and I don't know. I think it's just more so me looking at the future and like, me accomplishing my goals to getting a place, like maybe a house, maybe an apartment, something like that. I think that's what's making me happy, and I feel like just working, like hard work pays off, right? That's what I like seeing. That's what I love seeing. Like you putting the
You
time
know,
and effort and getting the outcome that you want.
that sounds fantastic. Now that what you've like said to me,
Hmm.
I mean, obviously, I didn't think that like it was, your happiness was based on money. I was
It's
more so
not.
just trying to understand it.
Yeah.
And so it's like what you said now is like, to me, it sounds like your happiness is based on how you evolve, how you advance as a person.
Yeah.
What are the new things that you take in, and like how can you go above and beyond these things and knock out some goals here.
Hmm.
The execution part is really important from what you said to
Hmm.
me, or like how I've understood your happiness. And to be honest with you, that's exactly the way I think about happiness.
Exactly. Just
It's like being able to advance and evolve myself, but at the same time, I think you also hit something extremely important when you're like, well, it's like I kind of have to also work, you know what I mean, to get
yeah.
that money,
Yeah.
finding that balance. And
Hmm.
so a big thing too I noticed about happiness is that for me personally, like that specific happiness that we were talking about where you have to, evolve yourself, advance yourself, do yourself for the betterment, and improve yourself.
Mm.
There's another kind of happiness where I think there's like the balance. the chill, the equal, you know
Yeah,
what I mean,
yeah,
the
yeah.
equilibrium. Because it's like if you're working so hard at the end of the
You're
day,
gonna get
and
drained.
you're advancing yourself and you're evolving yourself, that's fantastic. But if you're doing that 365,
That
24 hours a
sucks.
day, you know what I mean? That's
That's
that's like the over limit, you know. Like
yeah.
that's like too much of trying to improve yourself, where it takes away your chances of like,
Actually evolve yourself
hanging
as a
out with
person.
people. Yeah, and like having that chill factor, because I think
Yeah.
happiness, a big part of happiness is also having the chill factor, being able to live
Rest.
in the moment, here and now, being able to enjoy what you're sipping on, what you're eating, who you're talking to, what kind of memories you're making.
Yeah.
You
Like
know,
it basically like it comes down to how you spend your time when you
you know,
relax. So yeah. So
time management, man, is like one
yeah.
of the. I
Yeah.
think it's like one of the main variables in the equation to
Mhm.
happiness.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause okay. So like, so another goal of mine is like I guess to become a a big content creator in a way. Like cause I don't know. I just like interacting with people. I love doing like all these like different types of content where I could just do whatever I want, but in a fun way, right? So we're doing this, right? So I essentially call this work in a way, but like fun work, right? Because I'm like preparing things. I'm preparing things. Like in the end we're chilling, right? You and me are chilling. We're having a
Yeah,
conversation, but behind that there's work involved, and that's what I like about it. It's fun
yeah.
work. Like
Yeah. For me, I feel the same way. To be honest, it's not even work for me. It's just like, oh man, it's something that, it's a podcast that my homie and I are
yeah,
doing, and we're just having a good time. We're chilling. We're able to talk about a lot of these different things, and I think it's beneficial for us because we're able to talk about them and we're able to share these ideas with
yeah,
other people. Like I know for me, that was one of the biggest things, one of the biggest like positives was when we would always like have talks.
at
And like
like
snack foods, or like hanging out, and we would always just talk about like a lot of stuff. For
yeah.
me, this is a I don't even look at this as like work or job. It's just straight pleasure.
That
It's just
too.
straight having it's just hanging out with you, you
Yeah,
know.
exactly. That too. Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
We get to talk about all these different things about life, like what's happening, just overall things. I mean, it could be whatever we want, right? And we get like
Yeah.
really like deep into it, and it becomes interesting once both of our minds start rolling. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
because I think it's also important to have this kind of avenue of expression.
Yeah,
You
that's
know, I,
true.
I I think being able to like do a lot of things that you can express who you are, what your personality is extremely helpful and beneficial for you as a person.
Yeah.
Because it allows yourself to be like, what's coming out of my mouth? What am I thinking about? Where does my
Yeah.
mind go to when I hear this? When I hear that? How am I going to respond?
Mm,
Who am I in the social group? Like, how do I interact? Do I only give output and don't take any input? Do I only take other people's input and don't have anything to say to them? You know what I mean? It's like, who am I? And that answers a lot of it helps shape who you are, the more expressive things that you do.
yeah. Wait, so getting
But
back to like time management, like, the way
yeah.
that I spend my time when I relax is so I try to like just hang out with people, right? I try to hang out with Dolph. I try to hang out with you. Just chill and just do whatever we want, right? Just chill, have a good time, relax,
Mhm.
spend time with the homies, and that's
Yeah.
basically it. Like if I were, to, so let's say if you guys were not there, right? And
Yeah.
I want to do something else, but you guys aren't there, like or people aren't there for. So what I do is I just go with the flow. I just go by myself, right? So I've been to concerts by myself because no one can go, no one who's interested in going to that specific concert wants to go. So then I just end up going by myself, right? And I don't know.
Fun.
For me, in the end, it's just me, having fun. At the end of the day, I just love having
Yeah.
fun. Cause like going to concerts either way is gonna be fun because there's a crowd of people who enjoy it, who have a common interest with you, who like the artist, that the sound of the music and things like that. So how do you spend your time?
I used to go to concerts and music like festivals a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, I still want to do that, but
Mm-hmm.
I haven't really like that's something maybe I've been lacking on
Yeah.
because I love it. I absolutely love when I go watch live music. Like I'm a big fan of live music and I
Sick.
really get into it. and it's something that's like so beautiful and so expressive that I can sit there, observe, and enjoy. But like for me, it's like I can't really go by myself. I don't really want to go by myself. Again, for me, it's more like happiness can only be shared. Those moments
Yeah.
can be shared with people that I want to share them with, and I don't know. For me, I have not like put in too much effort to like let people know that I'm interested
Mm,
in whatever kind of concert or event that's happening.
mm,
But for stuff I do like outside of work, like I hang out with friends. That's good. I hang out with the
yeah.
homies. I have quite a few different groups of people that I hang out with. But with COVID, that's taken a little bit of a break.
Mm,
But for me, I'm a big fan of MMA. I'm a big fan of football.
mm.
I keep up with soccer. God, Bundesliga is amazing. Premier League good, La Liga good, Serie, and well, and they're all good. They're all good to me. I'm a big basketball fan, and so I have a lot of these different avenues to keep me like
Sane.
I guess yeah, grounded almost like
Grounded.
grounded in order. So it's like I'm intaking a lot of different information,
Mm,
and it's very very fun for me to like pay attention to these things too because it's like when you think about it, you're looking at like freak athletes, and you're
yeah.
looking at like people that are doing like they're the top tier of people at what they do at their own expression in the world. It's the
Which
same
is
thing
so
as like watching
crazy.
Smashers. It's the same thing as like watching some sort of grand finals between two top guys,
Yeah.
because it's like man, it's great to see. I love seeing expressive activities done at like the highest level.
Same. It's crazy.
That
All
to
the levels.
Yeah, that to me like stimulates me to no end. So for me, I noticed a long time ago that because I'm so stimulated by that, I needed to find I needed to find a lot of different activities that were like that. So it's like sports, obviously big thing. Chess, I'm a big fan of chess.
Mm,
Um, you know, Smash, obviously. Uh, Josh plays a lot of league, so I'll like watch him play sometimes. I don't really like play league. I,
mm,
I, I didn't really play too much league when I was a kid, or not even when I was a kid, but like just a few years ago, I just played like a little bit
mm,
with like college folks and stuff. But like I think the importance is like you have to find a lot of things that you enjoy, and you have to understand why you enjoy them.
yeah.
That's like the biggest thing. It's
It
like a lot of
is.
people are like, "Oh yeah, I love sports
But
because I'm
why do
able
you
to
enjoy
just sit
sports?
here, relax, and like watch the game." And I'm like, "That's cool and everything." For me, it's like, man, I used to love watching football, and like just because of my family was watching football, and like there would be a good dinner, good like gathering where I could just talk to people. But now I love football on a completely different level. It's because I started to learn what was happening. I learned the formations, the strategies, how the playbook was, how the coaches were, treating this quarterback, how like the plays run around the quarterbacks, the schemes are like the quarterback's strengths, and like why he's choosing to choose this option, why he's doing that option, why the defense is good, and like that entire brain stimulation and like sense of improvement and trying to emerge myself with the game came from Smash. It was something that I was
Oh
doing in
wow.
Smash. It was something that I was doing in chess. It was something that I would do when I was playing soccer because I played soccer when I was younger. And so adopting a competitive stimulating mindset, but being able to incorporate it with the chill factor of like I'm sitting on a couch on a Sunday afternoon, having a few beers with my boys, and we're just chilling, we're just watching here. Finding that balance between the comfort and the competition, for me, amazing. It completely stimulates me, keeps me very grounded, but at the same time allows my mind to really kind of run. You know what I mean? To keep stimulated as well. I don't want my brain to just sit there and be like, "Oh, I'm a couch potato." Or on the other side where it's like, I'm solely focusing on this game. You guys don't talk to me. I don't want to talk to you guys at all. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No.
You want to be able to balance everything out. And so for me, it's like different avenues like football, soccer, MMA, chess, Smash. Like there's so many different things, and it's just like I've played a lot of pool in the last
Pool.
year,
What?
and so pool,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
billiards.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like pool.
Crazy.
So it's
I
just
did not
like
know. That's actually interesting that you played pool. I did not know that. That's cool.
Yeah, on my keychain,
Oh
I got a
my
9.
god.
I
That's
got a I
sick.
got a 9
That's
keychain.
sick.
And so the thing is, it's like I found that you know what I mean, immersing yourself into all these different expressive avenues, and being able to do that along with gaining the friendships and the social exposure to people that are interested in the same things that you're doing. It's
Uh-huh.
like for me right now, I'm like, dude, I'm having a great time. Like my mind's stimulated. I'm hanging out with like a bunch of people, getting to know a bunch of new people, experiencing all these small little things about life that like life is throwing at me, but I also want to throw back at life. So it's like I can play my hand, and for me, it's like a lot of people aren't doing this. A lot of people are focused on a lot of other things. A lot of people are, not giving the respect to like if their friends want to hang out. Like I think it's very very unhealthy to be cooped up inside, not doing anything. But it's like, can
Yeah.
you imagine if like, okay, I'm a competitive league player and I'm just playing league 12 hours a day. It's like that's cool that you're doing what you love, but at the end of the day, it's like for me, life is too short to be solely focusing on that. And I
Yeah.
know this is usually a different strategy from like most one percenters. A lot of one percenters like Mark Zuckerberg and like a lot of rich like high
People.
status, high level, whatever you want to call them, people that are just like really successful. They were like, I did me 100%, and I wanted to do this, and I knew I would be successful if I did this. That's their version of happiness.
That is, yeah.
That's very important. That's extremely important. That is their version of happiness. Do not allow anyone else's version of happiness dictate your own version of happiness. For me,
Yeah.
my version of happiness is being able to intake all the people around me, have a good time, chin chill, but at the same time stimulate my brain. And that has to be an equilibrium, a balance. I have to like, you know what I mean? It's like for me, it's not like this as I'm progressing through life or like this. It's like boom, 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 every new level with everything else. But it takes a certain amount of discipline and balance to have that. And so it's like me again, that's personally my version of happiness. Differs among everyone.
Hmm.
But like, it took me a while to understand what made me happy as a person. And I think when you're in the early 20s and like almost mid 20s, you're not gonna understand that. Me, I'm not even 30 yet, so it's like I could be completely fucking wrong. You know what I mean? I could be completely off. But for me right now, I'm very happy with this, and I can see myself in the future living somewhat similarly to how I go about things. I might not have found the best amount of happiness, the highest level amount of happiness for any one particular area, but for me, my overall happiness is very high.
I see.
And so it's like that's where I'm at, and that's what I think about it.
That's good.
Again, it could be different for everyone else.
That's good, but like, so an interesting thing that you said is like, the billionaires and like like Mike or Mark Zuckerberg and people like
Yeah.
that. That's something that I did not, I did not look at it in that way where you kind of compare it to sports people how like the top one percenters are going for that specific goal. That's something I did not see. Like, how you said like they're specifically that's their happiness, and I did not see it that
Si-
way.
Sidebar as well to include onto that, like those one percenters, like what they're doing. Ironically, a lot of like the top sports people, like like LeBron James, the Patrick Mahomes, a lot of the like top smash competitive people, or like the leaguers, they started when they were really young, and that was their goal of
Yeah.
happiness. Their goal
Yeah. Was to be the best.
equated to their happiness. So it's like for LeBron James, he could be super happy right now because he's on top of the world being a basketball player and he's killing it for years.
Mhm.
But like they might have the same version of happiness that I do.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like honestly, I think they probably fall more into the Mark Zuckerberg, Warren Buffett type style, where it's like focus fully. You know what I mean? Focus solely
On the
on
goal.
doing your craft
Yeah.
and becoming the best at it. Like for me, it's like I know I don't need to be the best at anything, or like in particular. It's like I kind of already know who I am, and like to be honest, I think I'm like the best at everything I do too, whatever. but but it's like it's being able to balance it out,
I
being
see.
able to accept being able to accept who you are as a person, being able to accept what you deem happy, what you deem unhappy, and not conforming yourself to what another person says. You initially kind of have to conform yourself just to intake in that information, that new piece of information, so that you can learn it, grasp it, and put yourself in that environment.
Hmm.
But that should not dictate you overall as a person or your happiness.
Yeah. Hey, so speaking of sports, right? So have you ever been to like a sports related event? Like a
Oh yeah,
game? Really? Wait,
yeah.
so like what? Like was it like football, MMA?
Timberwolves games, some basketball, Vikings games, soccer games,
Soccer games? That sounds sick.
yeah,
I would go to it.
baseball games.
Oh yeah, baseball
So
games.
like
That was the
Twins,
most boring thing ever. A baseball.
yeah,
Yeah. So one time I went to see Twins. That was so boring. I'm just sitting there and no
dude,
one's making a noise. On the contrary,
I'm
though,
not,
when I went to WWE, when I saw WWE Elimination Chamber in like 2014, that was fire.
I'm
I
not
saw the
gonna lie.
Undertaker for the first
I
time.
think baseball can be so boring, but also like so fun simultaneously. But
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt.
No, no, it's all good, dude. It's all good. No, but like, I went to WWE Elimination Chamber 2014, saw the Undertaker the first time. My dude, I just jizzed, dude. I just
Damn,
jizzed.
you went to a WWE event?
Yeah, it was a pay-per-view event.
Wow, yeah. You said Elimination Chamber. That's December, January,
Yeah, it was like December,
right?
January. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then like
Wow.
another,
Really nice.
another time we went to Chicago for another pay-per-view and another WWE pay-per-view, and it was, yeah, it was pretty fun. But then I got sick. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's funny because I had a fever during the event and it sucked. It sucked.
Oh, sorry to hear, man. Yeah, there are a lot of people like cheering, screaming too.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, dude, I'm about to puke. But yeah,
You know, something about sports entertainment is I've always wanted to go to an MMA
dude, that actually sounds
like
so
event.
fun.
Yeah,
That sounds really
yeah,
fun. Just like seeing two people just beat each other's ass. That
yeah.
sounds
I'm a
so.
big fan of old school WWE,
Yeah, same,
WWF, like
same.
the
Me too,
Attitude
dude.
Era.
Yeah,
So I've really like kept up with like the
it
new wrestling
sucks.
type stuff.
It sucks. I just quit watching WWE like 5 years ago because it sucked. But
5 years ago. Well, that's even a
yeah.
benefit.
No,
I mean, not even that's even a jump for me.
yeah, but it's do you know about the wrestling company AEW? It's basically like the new competitive brand against WWE. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
basically
Well, I mean,
it
TNA is still out there, isn't it?
yeah, what?
TNA is still out there.
Yeah, TNA is still out there. I'm surprised that you know what TNA is.
No, no, I know all about like TNA, ECW. I
ECW is
really,
fire.
I'm a fan of Nexus. I'm a fan
Oh
of
yeah,
WWE
it's
developmental wrestling. What is
NXT.
it like the Ohio wrestling too? I don't know if you
Oh
know about that one.
yeah, is it FCW? Florida Championship Wrestling? That's like
There's that one. No, I think WWE's developmental
it's called
wrestling.
NXT. NXT.
No, no, that's isn't that Nexus?
No, no, it's called NXT. The Nexus were a part of NXT in like 2011 or something.
Oh, yeah, they're a group. I meant NXT. I meant
Yeah,
NXT. I know
NXT.
about NXT, how
Yeah,
Triple H is running that, and
yeah,
it's actually like his own creation too. But
yeah.
what I was gonna say was something called like an OVW. Like I can't
Oh yeah,
remember what it was. It was like
OVW.
Ohio something wrestling.
It's Ohio Valley Wrestling, I
Oh,
believe.
that's the one. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, and I know WWE used that as like one of their
yeah,
developmental ones, and so the thing is, it's interesting when you go watch those.
yeah,
It's like a lot more entertaining than the wrestling on TV
yeah. Like
because
yes, especially
it
nowadays.
reminds me of the old school WWE where it's super raw and
Yeah,
gritty.
dude. Yeah, oh yeah. So like nowadays, like WWE is just overproduced. It's so bad because Vince McMahon is like so out of touch. He's like 70 or 80, and like he just doesn't know what the crowd wants. And he's always like, um, he just wants to do his way instead of like how I guess Triple H would run the company, right? Because like, he runs the company like really well, especially in NXT. So like
Yeah.
Vince McMahon is just so out of touch. He needs to retire already. But no, but
You know,
hey,
wait, sorry to interrupt. You know, he said he was going to like let Triple H run things and not Stephanie or Shane
yeah, because
when he died.
yeah, Triple
That's
H is
crazy, man.
because Triple H. It's crazy because like not even his like daughter and sons right? Not a son and
He
not a son
fought,
and
he
daughter.
fought his way into the company, and now he's gonna run it when
Because
the CEO is done.
because he banged the CEO's daughter, right?
Oh man, he was just bigger. He started a family, a legacy with
That's
her.
crazy. That's crazy. It's crazy because like how you said legacy and like I think legacy was also like a tag team thing where like he created right like Triple H made like this like stable team thing called legacy I believe. I think it is.
I don't remember legacy. I remember evolution,
Oh yeah,
DX.
I think actually yeah, I think evolution. Never mind. Legacy.
Evolution was great.
I forgot
Evolution was
legacy.
phenomenal.
No, but hey, but I do recommend AEW. You should watch it because you know who Cody Rhodes is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's Gold. That's the son.
no, it's his brother.
What?
Yeah, it's Goldust's his brother.
I thought it was Gold. That's the son. Cody
No,
Rhodes and Dusty Rhodes.
yeah,
Dusty Rhodes is Gold Dust.
yeah, no, because Dusty Rhodes. Okay, Dusty Rhodes' son is Cody Rhodes and Goldust. Dusty Rhodes.
Maybe
Yeah,
that's what
cause,
you
cause,
know.
cause
Oh yeah, man.
yeah, cause you might be confused because Goldust's real name is Dustin and his dad is Dusty. So you might be confused.
Oh,
You might be confused.
Dusty.
No, but
Yeah.
hey, but AEW is like the better brand right now. It feels like it's like like WWE back then. So you should watch
How
it.
often do you watch it?
I mean, like, okay, because since COVID started, it's
If you're advocating it for this strongly, I'm like, oh man, you probably know some ish
yeah,
about it. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
You're probably into it.
yeah. Cause I was there like in the first episode. I was like I
Mhm.
watched the first episode of AEW and it was like in October. It was like a week after my birthday or like a couple of days after my birthday, and it was so good. It's like it's gonna definitely like it's definitely has competition against WWE. It's definitely competition.
Ooh.
It's crazy.
Competition with WWE, man. So many people have tried that in the last 30
I
years
know,
and
they're like
failed.
I know it's crazy, but this is a new thing and it's actually working.
And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like WWE, Vince McMahon, even though he may not like know what he's doing right now, all I know is I feel like he's monopolized the wrestling world.
He has.
And WWE is like, I don't even know what their market share is. Like my guess would be terrible. I would guess it's like some sort of like 70, you know what I mean? Like 50 to
Yeah.
70% of the entire sports entertainment, you know what I mean? Like of wrestling industry. I feel like WWE is that
That's
monopolized.
that's what's so crazy. It's like Disney, right? It's like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so
Oh
like
yeah.
it's so known and recognized that it's basically like the Disney of wrestling, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, I'll
but
be real with you. I'm probably not going to get into this.
no,
I don't
it's
even
all
watch
good.
WWE
No,
anymore.
it's all good, dude.
Yeah, I don't even watch WWE anymore. So it's like,
It's understandable. It's understandable. It's all good, dude.
I appreciate for looking out though. You know, it's like maybe I'll like go look at something or another, but like you know what I mean. I'm not gonna take it on like you know
No, it's all good, dude. It's all good.
on like a recurring basis.
Hey,
But
speaking of WWE, right? Have you heard of
yeah,
the ice cream bars? The
ice cream bars.
the WWE ice cream bars.
No, 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 no.
No. It's because I try to make a segue. I try to make a segue into something else because my brother got the Sonic ice cream bar and I got the most perfect Sonic ice cream bar in the world.
Hey, do you have a picture of it?
Yeah, dude, I got it right here. It's on the stream.
Oh shit. Oh what? Where is it?
You don't see the stream?
Oh wow.
It's fire, dude.
Have you seen the movie?
No, did you?
Okay, no, no. I mean, it made me think of the movie, you know.
What? Yeah, cause I heard
But no.
cause I heard that movie's pretty good.
Yeah, interestingly enough, that's what I thought. I heard that as well. I heard that the movie was actually really good and like it's actually worth watching. And I was like, we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see what's up.
Wait, have you seen the
Hey, but I want
Have you seen the
what
Mario
was
Bros?
that?
Have you seen the Mario Bros movie?
No, there's a Mario's Bro movie.
Yeah, dude, Mario Bros movie. It
What?
came out like in like the 80s, I think, or 90s. But it's so bad.
Oh no,
It's funny cause it's so bad. Like that's the reason that that's the reason that's the reason why you haven't heard of the movie because it's so bad. That's the reason.
wow.
It's
Okay.
so bad. Yeah, dude. Okay, Yoshi's an actual dinosaur.
Oh, is
Yeah, and Bowser's a
I don't even want to deal with
dude,
it.
and Bowser's a human.
Oh my god.
It's so bad, dude.
You know, at least in the what was like the old school Mortal Kombat
Oh yeah,
movie,
yeah.
like I like Goro.
Wait, Goro. Wait, who is Goro again?
He's like the big guy with like the four arms and
Oh yeah,
the
yeah.
ponytail.
He's cool.
Yeah,
Goro's cool.
yeah. I thought they did him all right. Like all those movies that like you know what I mean are have originated from like animated shows or
Yeah.
games like Dragon Ball Evolution.
That's so bad.
God,
That's a
that was
yikes. That's a yikes.
well, I was gonna say they're usually yikes. Like
Yeah.
most of these movies are usually
It
yikes.
doesn't make sense. I just don't get it. I don't get it, dude.
Yeah.
So how can they make a book like Twilight or like 50 Shades of Grey and like a multi-million dollar franchise or something like that, but they can't make Dragon Ball Z something big. They can't do that. I don't get it. When the source
Dude,
material is right there.
no, you're absolutely right, and I think the like there. Well, the thing is, okay, so I think it's already super hard to do, and so what you have to do is you have to talk about the ones that were successful. You know, like I think one of the like two of the biggest series where it's like super hard to like do all these different crazy effects and like you know what I mean, have it like all mesh into like a perfect story,
Hmm.
like Star Wars and Harry Potter. If you can do Star Wars and Harry Potter, you can do like almost any anime.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that. Like, but the thing is, I think it's hard to do, not necessarily because of what it comes from, but because of who you're pulling together to do the project. What's the
Oh.
crew like? Do you have great producers? Do you have a good consultant? Do you have good writers? Do you have good actors? You know, and so it's like I think everything has to come in, like the stars have to align for it, and it's just so hard. But it's like you do see those rare ones like Harry Potter, Star Wars, the Marvel movies.
Oh yeah, the Marvel movies are
Um,
so good. Yep.
I think the Marvel movies are like good for a movie. Like they're good for
Oh.
the movie experience. I
Oh.
don't really think they're like the most intelligent or like the craziest movies, but they're really 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 good for if you want to just sit down and watch a movie. I think it's fantastic.
It's funny because I said that like Marvel movies are like really good, but the only like Marvel movies I've seen like recently are just Spider-Man movies. That's
Spider
it.
Man's always great, man.
Dude,
Spider
Spider-Man's
Man's always
always good.
dude. I still think so. Okay, actually, I have not watched Into the Spider Verse, but I still
Oh,
my
it's
favorite
so
Spider Man
good.
movie is Spider Man Two with Tobey
Oh,
Maguire.
actually, yeah, yeah, yeah. Spider-Man 2 is really good. Yeah, with Doc Ock.
Yeah, dude.
Fire.
Alfred Molina as Doc Ock. Talk about the stars aligning. Like so that's exactly it. So it's like when you look at Tobey Maguire, I mean the guy who might have been like he gave off too much of a sissy like vibe, but at the same time he was able to portray Spider-Man well. I think he did
Like
do
a
it the
nerd,
best.
like someone
Yeah,
who
he did
can't fit
well.
in, like someone who like can't really fit in, like society, not society, but like high school.
Yeah. I guess you could kind of say that. Like he did that well. I was gonna say Kirsten Dunst, who played or Dunst, who played Mary Jane Watson. I thought
Oh yeah.
she did a great job as Mary Jane
The
Watson.
only problem that I
Uh,
have is that she cries too much, dude. She cries way too much. I'm like, dude, stop crying.
yeah. Well, the thing was great. So you have to realize that's what the scene entails. That's what the
Yeah.
writers had. That's what the screenplay is.
Mm,
You know, and so it's like because I know. Well,
J.
I was
Jonah
also gonna say
Jameson.
I was a big fan of James Franco
Yeah,
as
James Franco.
a Harry Osborn. Like
Yeah, it
man, he
was
nailed
sick.
Harry
Yeah,
Osborn.
he's
I thought
really
he was a
good.
great Harry Osborn.
He's really good. Dude, and J. Jonah Jameson, I think is his name, right? He looks exactly like him.
Mm.
He looks exactly like him.
He is the best cast
Yeah.
in any like superhero movie I have seen of all time. Like his version of J. Jonah Jameson is like spot on with source material,
It's
which
so
you
good.
never see
He
in
looks like him.
any like yeah. Not even that he looks like him, he
Yeah,
talks
yeah, yeah.
like how you would think he has the mannerisms
Yeah.
of how he does it too. So it's just like it's perfect.
Wait.
Of course Spider-Man 3 kind of killed his character, but whatever.
Wait, so did you see Far From Home? Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Far
he
From
made the
Home is
cameo.
fantastic.
He made the
What
cameo
was
at the
that?
end. He made the cameo at the end.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
sick. That was sick. He looks like Alex Jones. It's like an Alex Jones type of character.
We're just like conspiracy theory.
Yeah, it
Oh
was sick
man.
though.
Hey, did you see Minnesota Governor Tim Walz
Oh yeah,
has
yeah,
implemented
yeah.
required masks in all indoor public spaces now?
Yeah, I did see that earlier in the
How do you
morning.
feel about that?
So you're required, right?
Required.
It's all right. I don't really care. I mean, I'll just wear a mask, right? I mean, I,
To be
not
honest, I'm like happy that it's you know what I mean. It's like I honestly think I think it should have been implemented a while
a
ago.
while ago, yeah.
Yeah, I also have a lot of friends that don't believe coronavirus is real,
Oh,
and so it's, I don't have any issue with that. You know, everyone's free to believe what they believe. I
yeah,
believe
yeah.
it's real,
Same.
but also I'm not living my life as like
Fearful about
yeah,
dying.
like super fear. Like
Same.
I'm obviously being smart with it. So a lot of people when they hear me say this, they'll be like, oh yeah, you're not being safe with COVID. But I'm like, you know what? The thing is, I don't want to live in fear. If I live in fear, that's going to take away from my happiness. And it's like you need to do what you need to do to stay or be happy. Like that's my biggest thing. And like a lot of people like I appreciate that they're looking out for other folks, and I am too. But at the same time, it's like I'm not going to put myself in a public situation where it's like I'm not wearing a mask. Or, and the biggest thing is it's like I'm doing what affects me, not what affects other people. That's like the biggest thing. So it's like I have two masks on me at all times in my car. I have a box of sanitary gloves, rubber gloves, and I have two bottles of hand sanitizer on me. I don't know if many people have that, but that's what I have because I also go out a good amount. So the thing is, I want to stay safe with it, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it's like I think if you're doing it from that standpoint and you're being smart, you're being conscious, you're being aware of who you can affect, as well as like worried about yourself for your health. I think you're doing great.
Oh yeah.
So it's like hearing that this new policy has been implemented. It gives me hope for all the other dirty fucks in the world that like aren't taking those proper precautions. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
like they just solely straight up don't believe in it, and then they go out of their way and like mess up other people. And it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, that's messed up. It's like you'd be surprised to hear people do that, but people do that. It's
Yeah.
just very weird.
Yeah.
But it's like I don't have an issue with this. It's like I
Same
was
with
already
me.
ready from one. You know what
Same,
I
same,
mean?
same with me. Yeah, cause for me it's not gonna change. My work environment, cause we're required to wear masks, so nothing's really gonna change for us.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not really
No,
important
no.
to me. It should have been done
Well, hey man.
a while ago.
Yeah. Well, hey man. On that note, I think we finished a
Yeah.
good portion of stuff today. It's right
Yeah.
about seven p.m. here.
Yep. I'm about to go to work.
Um, are you?
Yeah.
Well, hey man, have a great night at work, man.
Hey, thanks.
And I already finished my work for the day, so I'm just kind of chilling until tomorrow morning.
Yeah. All right. That concludes episode 7 of the Homies podcast with Eric and myself, Isaac. You guys can follow
All right.
us on Twitter.
Well, peace. I think
All right, I'll see you, Jay.
I'll talk to you. We'll
Oh
connect when we
yeah.
can.
Oh yeah, dude. I'll see you.
See
Take
you.
it easy.